Hey guys, welcome back to another video in this series. So my name is Devin Adams. I'm a Fortinet instructor in Tempe, Arizona for Dynamic Worldwide. And yeah, we're creating an SD-WAN demo topology here for one of my viewers. So John Ray. And his biggest challenge is the limited resources that he has in GNS3. And in this video, our goal is simple. We need a router that's going to act as a pseudo WAN connection, right, between the real internet and also maybe like a branch office. Okay, if you guys look at my previous videos, this is the thing that looks like a cloud that has the word WAN on it. Guys, it's just a router. I mean, that's all that it is. And we use private IP addresses, obviously, because we're accessing the real internet. Uh, but we can make believe like those are public. In other words, a packet payload doesn't even care, right, if it's public or private. It's just the way that it transports across a network. So, anyways, I usually use like a PF Sense box, or I'll use like even a CentOS or an Ubuntu router, right? If I want to go open source, want to go free, and those all had a lot of resources. So I did a little bit of testing. I did a little bit of trial and error, and the best solution that I can find is actually using the. Let me pop this open here. Is using the let's see here, the OpenWRT solution. All right, so that's what we're going to do, but we're going to take it a step further here, John Ray. We're going to make it so you have a permanent pseudo cloud router that you can use anytime that you want to. In other words, we're going to configure it, then save it in GNS3 so you can use it over and over and over again anytime that you need a quote unquote WAN router. Okay, so to do this, and by the way, the Open WRT, it only uses 128 megs of RAM. So that is great. And also, it had a nice web GUI that's accessible through the web browser that you can use too. So I was all thinking to myself, you know what? That is just perfect for what we're doing, right? So we might as well just use it, right? So here we go. So to do this and to make a permanent WAN router here, you're going to go ahead and drag it on here like you're going to install it. Okay, we're going to hit next. You're going to run it on your GNS3 VM. Okay. Now I went ahead and I already, come on, buddy. I already had it downloaded and ready to go, right? So that's what this is up here. So, but if you don't have it, obviously you can click it here and hit download. And if you do that, it will download the file. You do have to open it up using something like WinRAR or 7-zip, right? But once you get the image file, I found that it actually had a checksum mismatch. Okay, so in fact, you know what? I might as well just show you. So if I go ahead and I hit download, it'll actually download it, right? And of course, it's on my other screen, but I'll hit save here. Okay, and then I went ahead and I opened it up, and if you go to import it in, I'll just scoot this over so you guys can't see my mess. It's going to come in and it's going to say that it's not the right MD5 checksum. Okay, so no big deal, my friend. What you need to do is hit no, all right, and just say create a new version. And we'll just call this like version 1 or something like that, okay? Now that we have that version 1, now go to import, load up the file you extracted, and then it will upload to the computer, okay? And that way it will ignore the checksum, and I promise you it works because, well, I've tried it out. It doesn't get easier than that. So anyway, so we'll go ahead and we'll let this thing kind of just sit here and bake for a second. So, and yeah. And then it's going to go ahead and verify the checksums, and then we'll be ready to install. So we can hit next. Okay. Would you like to install it? Sure. Hit next. And as you can see here, what? 128 RAM. That's awesome. Okay. Then we're going to hit finish. Now, before we actually do anything, let's go ahead and try to make this a permanent solution, okay? So what I mean here is that we're going to make it configured, and then we're going to use it as kind of like a template in case you want to use it in the future again, all right? So let's go ahead and let's configure that template specifically. And the first thing I'm going to do, just so you have some flexibility, I'm going to give it more additional interfaces. All right. So I did 10. That might be a little bit of overkill. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. For right now, though, I mean, it won't hurt just to have it. Yeah. So I'll go ahead and I'll say okay. All right. And also, I did not mean to close that out. There we go. All right. Also, configure template. I'm going to give this a name of WAN. Now, I already have something in here called WAN, and it's my PF Sense box, but here I'm just going to call it WAN1. All right. And for my symbols, okay, if you hit browse, I'm actually going to change this to a cloud. All right. Because it's supposed to be ambiguous. It's supposed to represent like an actual, ambiguous network. Okay. So, and yeah, not too bad. So I'm going to hit OK. And then it's going to go ahead and save. All right, and now we have a WAN1. See how cool that is? So we drag it, we drop it. Okay. And before you do anything else, let's right-click this. Let's go to configure. Is it in here? Oh, it's not in here. You know what? We might actually have to use the back door here. Because what we're going to want to do is we are going to want to turn off the template. So here we go. So here's our WAN1. Let's go to edit. And there's usually an option right here. My bad. I guess I could have gotten it from here. Where it says use as a link to VM base. We're going to turn that off right now until it's configured. Okay? So anything that we do on here is going to make permanent changes onto that image. All right? So I hope you're following me about what we're doing here. Hopefully it'll make sense at the end. Here we go. That's what I wanted. Now the default IP address on here is 192.168.1.1, and that is on the first interface. And on the second interface, it is supposed to be a NATed interface for your WAN. Okay, so what we're going to do here, and this is baked into GNS3, so you shouldn't have to create anything, but we're going to use that NAT cloud. All right, see the NAT cloud? This is supposed to be the real internet. It NATs out to your NIC on your host machine, and it NATs it so it doesn't interfere with any of your IP addresses on your real network. So I'm actually going to call this internet, okay? And I am going to bind that to Ethernet 1. All right? So in the meantime, just for simplicity reasons, okay, I am just going to pull out another, here we go. I am just going to pull out another, web term, okay, and I'm going to attach it to my Ethernet 0. All right, because I'm going to configure it super quick. Then I'm going to go to configure. I'm going to go to edit. And we're going to change these IP addresses now, right? Here we go. 192.168.1.2 and 1.1, because remember that PF Sense is going to be 1.1 on Ethernet 1, okay? And so we can have our DNS. There we go. We'll just change that to 8.8.8.8. Now I'm not keeping this thing around. I'm just doing this to set up the WAN cloud for the first time. Okay. After that, we're going to delete this bad boy. Okay. But here we go. I'm going to go ahead and power that on. And I'm also going to power on the WRT box. And that does take a moment to boot. Okay. So I'm going to hit pause here. And when I come back, we'll go ahead and access the GUI and configure this thing. And once we have it configured, like I was saying before, you won't ever have to do it again. All right, so I'm gonna hit pause. Okay, once you get to this screen, you know that you're good to go. All right, now you might have to hit enter a couple of times to get it to get here if it feels stuck. But once you're here, you can just close it out. All right, go back to your web term box, and we're going to configure this thing like we like we're going to use it going forward as a template. So as you can see here, it has internet connectivity. All right, so because it got a DHCP IP address from the NAT cloud, all right, on Ethernet 1, and then on Ethernet 0 is the 192.168.1.1 number. So pretty darn convenient, huh? So anyways, let's go ahead and make this work for our for our internal network. So here we are. So we're going to come up here, we're going to type in 192.168.1.1, and we're not using it outside of a public network, so we can just hit login. All right, or outside of a private network. Okay, and here we are. All right, see how we have a nice little interface here. Okay, so I'm just going to go to my interfaces, and as you can see, it has IP6, it has IP4, so on and so forth. I'm actually going to delete the IP6 client. I don't need it. I'm just taking it off. So, but we're going to go and configure at least a handful of those interfaces so we can use them later. So let's go to here. We're just going to call this LAN 2. All right. Okay, it's going to be a static address. All right. The interface is going to be Ethernet 2. We're going to hit submit. It's going to ask us for an IP address. So we're going to say 10. And once again, these are going to be your pseudo public IP addresses. I say pseudo because, you know, we can't use real private IP addresses because it's attached to the real internet. I mean, technically, I guess you could, but I don't want to. But these are just the IP addresses that we're going to pretend that are going to be like the public IP addresses we get from an internet service provider. So 254, all right. And we'll have this with the /24 in case we want. It'd be nice if I had if I had 4 octets instead of 3. Okay, but we're going to leave the gateway alone, all right, and everything else alone. Okay, and then when it comes to the firewall settings, we're going to add this to the LAN group. All right, and all this does is allow connectivity between the subnets and also to go out that NATed interface. We hit save and apply. Okay. And believe it or not, we're going to do that over and over and over again until we're finished. All right, so let's go ahead and just keep on adding interfaces. And this is what's going to act as our SD-WAN. These are going to be all the separate internet connections. All right, so here we go, LAN 3, we'll hit submit. We're going to say 10.200.3.254. All right, subnet mask. We'll do a /24, okay? And then we'll also add it, once again, to the LAN zone, all right? Yep, we're gonna do it again. Here we go. We're gonna call this LAN 4. And in all honesty, you just gotta do this once. because I'm going to show you that once we have it configured and we shut it down, okay, we're going to re-snap we're going to recheck the baseline image. And then after that, we just never have to do this again. All right, there we go. Okay, firewall rules. Save and apply. Now I wish I didn't do 10 interfaces. Okay, I'll do a couple more. We'll leave the other ones blank for flexibility reasons. So I'll leave it up to you if you want to do any more than that. So here we go. Submit. 10.200.5.254. We'll have a /24. All right. Nice. Firewall rules. Make it part of the LAN. Save and apply. Yeah. All right, cool. Okay. Let's keep going. Let's add 2 more, because you know what? I don't think we'll ever need any more than that. At least not for anything that I'm going to do. So, and we'll leave the other ones just there in case we want some flexibility. All right. 10.200.6.254, right? Subnet. There we go. Cool. We'll add it to our LAN. We'll hit save and apply. And we'll just do one more. And yes, I mean, you could set up DHCP on this if you wanted to. I mean, how cool is that? So, here we go. Add a new interface. And we'll do a LAN 7. Right? Hit submit. We'll do 10.200.7.254. Subnet mask. Then we'll do our firewall settings. Okay. Save and apply. Nice. And the very last thing we're going to do, though, okay, is I'm going to edit our original, okay, and I'm going to change that IP address, and I'm going to change it to 10.200.1.254. Now, when I hit save here, obviously, it's going to kill it, but that's okay, all right? That's not a big deal. It should never come back. And that's not a bad thing, okay? Because you know why? We're done with it. So once you do that final 10.200.1, right? I'm just going to close out the web term. I am going to come here, and I'm going to make sure it's not doing anything, which it looks like it's not. I'm going to just do a real quick ifconfig to confirm that interface took. All right. And it did. Okay. And I'm pretty sure that all I have to do after that is to do a shutdown or a shut. How do you turn this thing off? Exit. End. I guess we just power it off. All right, cool. I'm an idiot. Here we go. Stop. Then we delete this. And then we delete this. Okay. We double click to confirm that it stopped, which it did. And now I'm going to come back here to my WAN 1. All right. I'm going to go to configure, advanced, and I'm going to use this as a baseline VM. And what that's going to do now is all the settings that we did beforehand are going to be saved and persistent, okay? Right? in our GNS3. I don't know why I had a brain fart there. Okay, and just to kind of prove this, all right, I'm going to delete this. And this way, you know, if you're down the road and you ever need to reconfigure a topology like this, you'll now have that pseudo WAN router just configured just the way you want it to use it. And yeah, and just kind of go to town with it. So let's test it out. Are you ready? And then we'll end this video for right now. So here we go. All right. So that is our WAN 1, and we can now call this just WAN, okay? And we're going to plug this into our Ethernet 1 into the cloud. All right. And then we're going to plug this into port 1. And I'm going to hit start. And that's obviously going to take a second to boot, okay? So I'll hit pause here. It shouldn't take too long though. And yep, it didn't. So I just wanted to make sure it booted. All right, now we're going to go back to our PC1, and we'll delete this. We'll delete this after we're done to do the SD-WAN. Sorry, I don't know why I'm having such a brain fart. So, but let's just test it real quick. So let's go to interfaces. Okay, let's go to port 1. I'm just going to call this WAN. Okay. And we're going to say, hey, 10.200.1.1. Okay. Oh, my bad. Cool. And then we're going to go to our static routes. And we're going to make a quad 0, 10.200.1.254, which should be our pseudo WAN router. Cool. And then I'm just going to make a real quick generic firewall policy. Okay. I'll just call this internet access, and we'll go from our ingress to our egress. All. Normally you wouldn't just do all these alls. That's okay. We'll hit OK. All right. And now, once that commits, are you ready? Oh, I'm so nervous. And nothing worked. Oh, geez. I wonder what happened there. You know what, though? We can test it really easily, though. Are you ready? Let's just do a execute ping 10.200.1.254. Oh, you know what? Maybe it didn't take those. Maybe it didn't take those connections. Yeah. Let's take a look here. Yeah, we should have it. All right. So we'll do a an if config. I see my IP addresses. Oh, look at that. Oh, my word. Look at that. It still left the 192.168.1.1. What is up with that, man? That came so close. I have no idea why it didn't commit the 10.200, but it did commit everything else. All right, so you know what? No big deal. We have enough interfaces here to write home to. All right, so here we go. We'll just say port 1 to, are you ready? Yeah, that's not a big deal. Okay. Let's go ahead and fail. I have no idea why it wouldn't do the other ones, but so we'll have to just go back up here. Now, normally I'd troubleshoot that, but you know what? We made so many interfaces. Fine, we can just ignore that first port for right now if we don't want to use the 192, and we'll just say, hey, you know what? Just use the 2.1. Yeah, and we'll go to our static routes, and we'll just say, you know what? it's really 2.2. So, okay. And then once again, to test this, we can just do an execute ping 10.200.2.254. There is our pseudo router, and we still have 6 more interfaces to play with. And if we do an execute ping, something like 8.8.8.8, did it find the internet? It did. So, in fact, yeah. So I don't know why that didn't take the change on that first connection before we captured the VM, but whatever. We can leave it at 192.168.1.1 for right now. But my whole point here, though, is every time you drag out that virtual router, right, that VM router, it's going to be configured and looking like a cloud, okay? And on top of that, it's only using 128 megs, and it has a nice web GUI, okay? And it should be perfect for us to do our SD-WAN demo, okay? So hopefully, Genre, that is okay with you. And at this point, our next video is going to be actually setting up the SD-WAN interface. Now, time's running short for me for today. I might get around to it a little bit later tonight. It might be tomorrow morning, all right? But I will get it done before this weekend, okay? So no big deal. And sorry for the super long video, but there you go. In fact, before I leave, just to make the proof of concept even deeper, I'm going to delete that WAN cloud all over again, just to show you. I mean, it's there for you to use anytime you want to. But now we know that now that we know that we're going to plug in port 1 to port Ethernet 2 now, and then Ethernet 1 to our NAT cloud, right? And then turn it on. And then once it posts, I mean, we can use this over and over and over and over again. So you'll never have to configure those IP addresses again. So gotta admit, that's kind of cool, right? And that's exactly what I've done in my video, guys, when you see my little pseudo WAN cloud there. All right. Here we are. Yeah, pretty cool, huh? All right, so in our next video, we are actually going to start diving into building our SD-WAN topology. All right, so this was just to create a permanent WAN router. So, okay, cool. I'll see you guys next time.